Hey guys, Popo Joe Exploding. Today I come to you with a kind of like a brainstorming video today. As you can see before, I have more of these paper cartridge things, but they're a little different, and you can see I'm using a different projectile. That's right, guys. What I've done is I've taken the type of pistol cartridges that I've made, and I essentially just scaled it up for my Traditions Hawken 50. So, and honestly, it was really easy to do. So, let me put these away, and I'll go over these. What I did is I went out and bought some of these Maxi Hunter 350 grain, 50 caliber. And I kind of what I was looking for, but really, I mean, they're all the store had. I don't have a conical 50 mold yet, but this is what you get. You get 20 of them. They're kind of expensive, but anyways, you know, they're kind of exactly what I needed, but not exactly what I like. But what I wanted was a lead conical with some grooves, but you know, it is what it is. It's the closest thing I could find, and I also got myself a couple more. Well, I had gotten rid of my my lead smelter. I went and got myself a new Lee production pot. So I'll be getting the molds for these here soon. But anyways, this is what I got. They were 20. I think it's $20, or like a buck a piece. So yeah, so I'll be making some cheaper ones here soon. Maybe about 40 cents a piece, because I'll be using fishing weights. I was already looking at some. So yeah, so this is what I got for right now to use to make these. You know, to get my hands going, to get the idea out and about into the real world. And honestly, what inspired this thing was looking at paper cartridges for the old Smith carbine I had, and there was paper cartridges, and then I started looking at it, and it had sharps, paper sharps cartridges, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could take this, and I know my rifle's not a breech loader, but the same principle applies. Could I just ram it down the barrel and have a self-contained cartridge just like this? So I went ahead, bought those, and made myself a scaled up paper cartridge for the rifle, but it's fully enclosed, so it's none of that ripping and spitting stuff. This is just strictly shove it down the barrel and cap it and shoot it. What this is the same paper that I used to make pistol cartridges. There's actually 2 leaves instead of just the one, and I put it on a dowel rod and filled it with powder, flattened one end, and I put a cardboard little circle on one end, so that would give a nice flat surface for this to be glued on. And then naturally I just wet my fingers and I spun it and tied it, and then I poked a flash hole into the back. So if there is kind of anything, because I did put a little bit of glue right here on the knot, and if there was anything that, you know, would hinder the flash getting to the powder, even though I don't think it would, this actually helps. And honestly, being 2F, no powder falls out. So moisture, yeah, but for right now, I got, as you can see, I got them in a plastic bag, so I don't worry about moisture, and they're just ready to go, just ready to put down into the pipe, and then ram it down, cap it, and shoot it. So yeah, so, but I ran into a thing. Having the stuff with the exposed lube, it's kind of messy, to tell you the truth. And you know, me and grease, we don't like each other. So I went ahead, and instead of twisting one end, I actually just flattened one end onto the dowel rod, glued it, put a hole in it, the flash hole, turned it upside down, filled it with powder, put the cardboard little wad down in there, and then instead of rolling it, I just dropped the entire bullet down into the paper, and then rolled it between my fingers, and sure enough, the lube and the paper adheres to itself, and this is what you get. It's a much, I guess you could say, cleaner version of the cartridge. It doesn't get your fingers all greasy handling it, and I really hope these work better. I know these are going to be a little easier to put down into the chamber, only because there's not a layer of paper on it, whereas this one does have a layer of paper on it. So I'm kind of really nervous about once I get it up to here, that I gotta keep pushing it in, and hopefully it goes in. I'm pretty sure it is. This stuff is extremely thin paper, and I think, even if I have to use a ball starter, which I really don't want to use a ball starter. I actually tested one of these. I actually put it into the gun right now. So the gun is ready to go, minus the cap. I've tied an orange leaf, little ribbon around the ramrod, just so I can remind myself, hey, it's loaded with one of these. Just because, just to test out, see if it went in there. And sure enough, it did. So I went ahead and made 4 more. And I'm going to do a group of 5 here in a second with each one, and I really hope that I don't need the ball starter for this one. But, time will tell. And they're each loaded with 100 grains of powder, and they're the exact same conical bullet with the boar butter grease. So another thing, if it gets hot, I can see where the grease could just melt away. And this Texas heat, oh man, boar butter turns to liquid. So I hope this handles a little bit better than the stuff that comes out of the my tube. And if this stuff goes, it might actually hold itself in place. But then again, who knows? It might just soak the entire paper and make it, and just ruin the structural integrity of the paper cartridge. But once again, I don't know. I've got to get outside. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and put these 2 very different but very similar cartridges to the test, and see which one I will be making from here on out when using a 50 caliber conical. Let's go to the range. Alright guys, let's go ahead and try out the cartridges that are glued to the top of the powder, and let's see what those do. There we go. Eventually I want to make like wooden blocks that goes in here, kind of like I did with the paper cartridges for my pistol. That way they'd just be sitting up, so. The one I had in the barrel originally wouldn't go off just for me just shoving it down in there, so I don't know, I might have to put a flash hull in the side instead of the rear, seeing how it comes up right here. So let's see. Got my steel plate over. Alright, let's do the second shot. Now I already put flash holes in these. So let's see how we do if we just put one in the side, facing the flash hole. That'll be over here. Go in. Yeah. No wonder these were for breachloaders. Lost a few grains of powder. Probably shooting about 80 grains now. That's why we're doing this. Experimentalization. That hit hard. So what I've found shooting these is pretty much like the ones you tear with your mouth. These, it's going to be pretty much, even though the first one went into the bore just fine, looks like these are going to have to be ripped in the back and then drop. So what I wanted to happen didn't quite come out, but still overall a good idea. If this was a breech load gun, yeah, probably would have worked. But it's not. Maybe if I still had that Smith Cavalry carbine, it would have worked really well. So, you know, no, we never know. So whenever I make these, I'm going to have to leave the tails on instead of cutting the tails off. Rip it in the back, just like all the other ones. However, unlike the other ones, everything goes into it, paper and all, so there's no ripping, and it's just undo the back, put it in, shove it in. It's pretty much just one more step more than I wished. So yeah, that's what it is. Man, 100 grains hits hard. Alright, well, while my boar butter starts to disintegrate and melt, I'll do the last shot. Then we'll clean the bore, and then we'll start with the other ones. Really, these things are going in really effortless. I mean, minus actually starting to put them in. There you go, one cap left in here. Well, let's see how the other ones do. The ones that aren't glued to the top instead are pushed into the paper as well. Alright guys, now let's move on Now that I've swabbed the barrel, get a little cleaner, let's go ahead and move on to these. These are the rounds that are pushed into the paper. So, see how easy this is. Now I like these because, unlike the other ones which are melted all over the place, these aren't as messy with the grease, you know. So did that. Just pour down all the powder. That ripped on me there. So now the moment of truth. Can't start it with the well, yes I can. Yes I can finger start it. Still need to use this though. I was worried about that layer of paper on there, how that might affect it, but turns out I gotta use the ball starter with these anyways. Like I said, if it was a breachloader, probably would work, but seeing it's a muzzleloader, not so much. But oh well, that's probably why they were invented for a breachloader, right? Oh, that is a big hit. I'm really gonna enjoy having these in a paper thing instead of having to keep them in a plastic bag. So that way I just have to open it up, pull it out, and then I guess I'll leave the tails on so that way I can just rip it off. Turns out the flash hole where I put it isn't exactly where the flash happened in this model. It's actually to the side. But even then, as you can see, the cartridges are starting to kind of pop, so we don't really want that. So, get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there. Like that. That one went well. Got all the powder in that one. Cluster. Hot little number. anyways, guys, that's it. So looks like the ones I'll be making from there on out will be the ones where the bullet seats all the way down the paper. It's not messy. The hops number 9, not the hops number 9. Man, it's hot out here. The board butter won't melt away as easy, and won't get everywhere. And I can tell you right now, I actually had to wipe this gun down because after handling the last 5, it was just bad. So anyways, guys, yeah, so hope you got some ideas. I don't know, maybe I should like lessen up the powder, because it's this thing kicks like a 30-06 almost. With using these 50 calibers and the 100 grains of powder. So I don't know, maybe I'll make some equivalency of, I don't know, maybe a 50-70, so maybe less than just enough, because whew, that's got some ass behind it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and remember to press subscribe, like, more videos to come. Peace.